Mr. Average Hockey Fan here, and today I'd like to talk about Thomas Tatar and the impact he's had on the Montreal Canadiens, and boy has it ever been a good impact. Along with Max Domi, he's been the highlight of the team this year, two of the players that were brought in via trade, and God has he ever performed good in Montreal. He comes at a very reasonable 4.8 mil cap hit. He's only 28 years old, proven NHL player, has scored 20 goals 7 out of 8 years he's been in the league, has played for the Czech international team in the World Juniors, the World Hockey Championship, and in the Olympics in 2014. He's dressed for the Czech national team 8 times overall. All 8 of the years he's been in the league, he's played for the Czech national team at some point, whatever tournament they were in. And even prior to coming to the league in the World Juniors, he played for the Czech national team. He was drafted in the second round in the 2010-2011 draft. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been the year prior, but I'm pretty sure it was 2010-2011. Second round, 60th overall to Detroit, who he's played most of his career with. He played 20 regular season games in Vegas, and he played a couple of playoff games, and he really struggled in Vegas. I believe he only had 6 goals the whole while he was there, and they traded a first, a second, and a third round pick to get him. So they gave up the farm to get him at the deadline last year, and it clearly didn't pay out. He is a perennial top 6 guy. He needs to be the top 6 in the lineup. He's a top 6 forward. Vegas didn't use him as that, and I think they just Tatar wasn't feeling it in Vegas. He wasn't meant to be a Golden Knight, so they traded him to Montreal for Max Pacioretty, but they also threw in Nick Suzuki, who was supposed to be the highlight of the trade. Tatar was supposed to be a throw-in. I have no idea how with these numbers, and they gave us a second-round pick too. So Montreal absolutely fleeced Vegas in that trade because they got just as good a player as Pacioretty. Maybe not goals-wise, but right now he's looking like just as good of a player as Pacioretty. Pacioretty isn't doing the best in Vegas, and he's been injury-prone all year. He hasn't played the full time in Vegas. He's missed 12 games so far in Vegas, and it's only halfway through the year. Also, one big difference between him and Patches is he isn't the captain of the team, and when he's down, if he is struggling, which we haven't seen him do much in Montreal, he had a little bit of a goal slump for a bit, but if he is down, he is struggling. It doesn't affect the whole team. He isn't a negative attitude player. He's a high-energy player. He skates really well. He can create, but he's primarily a goal scorer. He's not scared to take this puck off another player's stick. He isn't that great defensively, but he isn't really supposed to be. Like, that's not his game. He's a winger. He can handle himself in his zone, but he's not a guy you're going to see on the penalty kill, and he's not a guy you're going to want out there to hold the lead. He's a guy you're going to want out there to get you the lead. And him, Deneau, and Gallagher have been the primary line he's been on all year. They have been great 5-on-5 scoring. The team got a little bit stale, as Julian said, so he switched it up. I'm pretty sure Tatar was playing with Domi, if I'm not mistaken. Tatar's been going all year. He hasn't been streaky. He's been consistent. He may go 2 or 3 games without a point, but he's almost every 2 or 3 games getting a point or two. So far this year in Montreal, he has 51 games played, 16 goals, 22 assists, 38 points, is a plus 10. Notable to mention that his career high in plus minus is a plus 12, and his career high in points is 59. So his best year in Detroit, he had 82 games played, 29 goals, 27 assists, 56 points. Like, he's only right now 18 points from his career high. So in 30 games, he needs to get 18 points to tie his career high, 19 points to surpass his career high, and he only needs to get his plus minus up by 2, and it's been trending upwards the whole season. He's been a plus almost every game. I can't remember looking at a stat sheet and seeing Tatar as a minus. Some of the games he's been like plus 3, plus 4. Absolutely excellent player. He's been thriving in Montreal. You could see the culture change. He needed it. He loves being in Montreal. Every commentator and analyst I've heard is saying this is the best they've seen him play in his career since his really good year in Detroit. I don't want to say his one really good year. He had many good years in Detroit. Every year but one he scored 20, and the one he didn't score 20 was his rookie year. He is thriving in Montreal, and he's a great addition to the Habs, and he's a big part of the reason why they're winning so much. He scored some very big goals, 15 of them to be exact, 16 of them to be exact, and he's doing better than Max Pacioretty because so far Max Pacioretty hasn't played 51 games. He's only played 39 games in Vegas, which I'm sure Vegas isn't happy with. They brought him in to be a leader on the team, and by no means has he been a leader in Vegas. He hasn't been bad, but he's just been streaky. Patches is not a guy you can depend on like Tatar. He's not consistent. He's a very streaky player. He's almost there with Tatar in goals, though. He does have 15 goals. He only has 13 assists and 28 points, is a -4. So Tatar is a +10. Patches is a -4. and he has 10 less points than Tatar. And this was the throw-in on the Patches trade. We still haven't even seen Suzuki in Montreal besides the preseason yet, and we still haven't drafted that second-round pick. So this is looking very, very good for Montreal. People say we won the Domi trade. We may have won that trade. Time will tell. It's looking really good so far, but we definitely won the Tatar trade. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Barring some miracle and Nick Suzuki flames out and doesn't become a good NHL player like he's supposed to, and that second-round pick doesn't turn out to be something good. And Montreal has done pretty good with second-round picks overall. We've had a few first-round busts. They talk about we ain't good at developing our players and stuff like that, but they've made some pretty good second-round picks over the year, I must say. And seeing Tatar getting guys like Dano going, Dano and Tatar in particular seem to have a lot of chemistry when they play together to me. Absolutely love it. Some more notes about Tatar. His career totals, he has 478 games played, 135 goals, 131 assists, 266 points, is a +7. So he's a plus player most of his career. He's a guy that's going to help you out there on the ice, and he's not a guy that's going to be out there for a lot of goals against, mainly because when Tatar's on the ice, offense is being created for your team. Like I said, very strong skater, very high energy player. My one big note about Tatar this year is he's a very high energy player. I made a top 3 Montreal players so far at the All-Star break video, and a few people gave me the gears for not having Tatar as the top 3. Well, the guy I had in third, it was down to him and Tatar. And going over the numbers, I had to give it to the guy I had in third because I really, really like him. I just am more of a fan of the person, but Tatar is not far off. Tatar is one of my favorite Habs this year. I got a feeling he's going to be a mainstay Hab. I hope when his contract is up, I'm not sure if it's next year or the year after, I hope when his contract is up, he stays in Montreal, he re-signs, and he becomes a Hab for at least the next 5 or 6 years. He's only 28 years old. I could see him in Montreal for 4 or 5 more years at least. Great player. Love seeing him on our team. So happy we got him. I'm sure Vegas is absolutely disgusted that they parted with him, and they should have used him in a top 6 role. I think he would have thrived in Vegas if they had to start him off in a top 6 role and give him the minutes he needed to play to get going. Because instantly, as soon as he came to Montreal, he was on the top line. He was a go-to guy, and he could see this team was a struggling team before, and they were a team that needed him. They depended on him. They really, really, really wanted him, and he has delivered. And I'm so proud of what he's doing in Montreal. As a Habs fan, I'm so happy to see him wearing the blue and white, see him wearing the C&H. Makes my day every time he laces up a pair of skates for Montreal. He's like Brendan Gallagher type player. He's all heart and soul. Good to see Tatar on our team. And those are some notes about Thomas Tatar and what he's done for this team this year. Go Habs, go. Mr. Average Hockey Fan, over and out. Like and subscribe. Hit that button, folks. Bottom of the screen. Have a good day.